Have we found life beyond Earth? Hasn't Hubble spotted planets with oceans and trees and... Hi, I'm Dave Dooley, and for Halloween 2020, welcome to a story ripped from the headlines, Alien Autopsy. No, not this one, although we did borrow the name. This is Alien Autopsy, Fake Bodies, Real Science, another of our virtual Rocketeer Academy activities. If you answered yes to the questions, sorry, you're wrong. We haven't found life anywhere in our solar system or the rest of the universe. We've found lots of hints that conditions might be right, but no proof. And since we haven't found anything yet, I'm going to show you how to build your own extraterrestrial and then how to dissect it. No, not one of these guys. Most extraterrestrials in movies look a lot like actors in makeup because, well, they're just actors in makeup. Meet Tortilla Volante, the flying flapjack from Europa, one of the moons of Jupiter. A moon, not a planet, is the best place to look? Not our moon. It's almost bone dry and always has been. But some of the moons of the outer planets have more water than Earth does. And they are so close to their planets that tidal forces squeeze them back and forth, warming them from the inside out. Exploration of Jupiter since the 1970s shows that Europa and other outer planet moons have liquid water and even plumes that jet into space. The surface is far from pure ice, and the 1977 discovery of tube worms living near volcanic vents at the bottom of Earth's oceans away from sunlight opened minds to new possibilities. Intense radiation trapped by Jupiter's strong magnetic field might even contribute energy to the chemistry that helps form life. For now, we plan unmanned probes to sample Europa's water plumes. One day, we will land there and melt our way through the ice to the ocean below. And perhaps we will find something like Tortilla Volante. The radiation and 10-mile-thick ice cap make it unlikely that humans will go there. But advanced robotics could give us the next best thing. So let's show you how to build the body. Normally, you'd be in one of our classes and would give you a body to dissect. Instead, we'll show you how to build one first. We'll build it from non-meat parts because that's cleaner. You'll need these items. Ready to build? Put 14 or more clear water beads in a glass of water and set to one side. Print the pattern in the PDF file, full size, not scaled, and cut it out. Trace the 3 cutouts onto 2 tortillas. Run glue along the marker lines on one tortilla. Lay a balloon on each side. Place the second tortilla cutout atop it with the marked lines on the outside. Set these aside to dry. Meanwhile, divide the Play-Doh into halves and flatten across a small plate. Press onto each tortilla. Tie a knot in one end of the string and run it through the 8 beads. Press the line of beads into the Play-Doh. Place toothpicks so they stick out from the beads. Break 2 toothpicks in half so they are half-length at top and bottom. Cut the glued tortilla along the lines. You should now have a long tube-like section with balloons attached and 2 small pouches. Place the long tortilla cutout down the length of the beads. Smear some glue along the edges of the 2 smaller pieces and position near the edge of the tortilla. Liquefy the gelatin with a food blender if you have one, or mush it up with a knife and fork. Run a line of glue around the edge of the tortilla and along the length of the tube down the center. Pour into the center of the body. You don't have to use all of it. Scoop some under the center part. Gently place the other tortilla atop the specimen and press around the edges. Squeeze 2 small globs of glue onto the top, one on each side of the smaller opening. Place 7 clear water beads in a hexagonal pattern on each. Stick 2 or 4 green feathers on the back. We're using feathers from the craft department, but downy feathers from a child's boa are better. Break about 10 toothpicks in half and stick into the tortilla. Finally, slide a small gummy worm into each pouch at the other edge. And now you have built Tortilla Volante, the flying flapjack of Europa. Let's talk a little about extraterrestrial life while the glue dries. Speculation abounds on what shapes life might have on other worlds. It could be microscopic crystals that kill without thinking, intelligent moving rocks, or, well, darn near anything. While we can't say these are impossible, scientists in the field of astrobiology put their money and research on what is more probable. That means worlds that have liquid water and a decent mix of chemicals. We believe that Earth started that way, with salty oceans full of primordial soup and energy provided by sunlight and lightning. We are still figuring out the details, but that's the fun part of science. In our solar system, Mars has long been the favorite contender for extraterrestrial life. Getting past Percival Lowell's fascination with its canals, which don't exist, we now know it once had a large ocean and may still have small subsurface lakes of liquid water. Venus recently popped into the news with the detection of a phosphorus-based gas that is unstable, indicating that it is produced by some sort of life. Still, watery worlds are everyone's favorite, mainly because water does such a good job of dissolving and transporting various chemicals, especially proteins and amino acids. Carbon-based is another favorite because carbon forms an incredible array of chemicals, including the proteins and amino acids that are the basis of life as we know it. Of course, nature has a way of surprising us, like the discoveries that the outer planet moons have liquid water under the ice, which brings us back to our specimen, which should be ready for you to study. In our model, T. Volante lives under the ice at the top of the water column. That's why the picture seems upside down. Given that the ice on Europa is about 10 miles thick, it's not likely that astronauts will go scuba diving there, and it will be tough to bring specimens up for a dissection. So it's likely that we'll do it by remote-controlled robots. That's called telerobotics. NASA has been studying a type of wheeled rover that will roll along under the ice shelf on Europa. When you think about advanced gaming gloves and sensors, we can expect that by the time we get to Europa, you will feel like you are right there with the specimen. So let's get busy working on it. This will be messy, so set up paper towels to take the parts you cut away. First, examine the body. What do the spines tell you? What do the feathers represent? And the two clusters of water beads? Look around the edges. What do the openings tell you? Remove the spines and feathers. The picnic knife is your scalpel. Cut down the length of the body from the opening at one end to the other, and then cut arcs across top and bottom. Pull the flaps to each side. What does the green Play-Doh represent? What are the two circular organs at the bottom? What's inside them? What is the long section running from one end of the body to the other? Why is it shaped like that? What are the two balloons attached to the sides? What's with all the gelatin? Remove those sections and what do you see? What do the toothpicks represent? The white beads. What's inside the beads? Ready for the big reveal? You probably guessed that our creature is a vertebrate with ribs. Those are the white beads and toothpicks. The string through the beads is the spinal cord, and the knot at the top is its brain, making this a fairly advanced creature. The green Play-Doh lining is muscle to let it flap its body like a stingray on Earth. That's the flying part of our tortilla. Backing out a little, the long tortilla tube you built is the gastrointestinal tract, from mouth to stomach to anus, just like you and other vertebrates have. The two balloons are swim bladders, bags where T. Volante holds air it sucks in from under the ice. This helps it float at the top. The two small organs at bottom are pouches holding larval young, the gummy worms, until they can fend for themselves like a seahorse or a kangaroo. And the green gelatin? Notice that it has no heart? This part of the anatomy connects to the feathers on the outside. Those are external gills, not wings, that absorb oxygen from the water and give off carbon dioxide, just like a nudibranch on Earth. As with a jellyfish, oxygen diffuses slowly through the gills and gelatin to the rest of the body, and carbon dioxide in the other direction. Why green? Our creature uses copper-based compounds to carry oxygen. Many creatures, like horseshoe crabs and some scorpions and spiders, have blood like this, which is more efficient in cold environments. You probably guessed right away that the external toothpicks are for self-defense. That means something bigger and badder is loose in the oceans of Europa. What do the water jelly beads at front tell you? Those are compound eyes. Their positions say this is a predator. As with wolves and cats, eyes facing forward help you gauge the distance to your target. Eyes on the sides of the head are for prey, like horses and deer looking out for wolves and big cats. And now the bigger question, why do they have eyes? Sunlight is 27 times weaker by the time it gets to Jupiter, and none of that will get through 10 miles of ice. What's going on? Eyes indicate that something produces light, possibly bioluminescence like lightning bugs or plankton. If, big if, we find life on Europa or some other world, will it be this complex? Probably not, but even slime mold would be an incredible discovery. And with billions of solar systems in our galaxy, something like this is out there. So now that you've seen how one body might be built, try your hand at others. Use an ice cream cone or a dish for a shell. What can you build with different types of pasta, vegetables, other items? But make sure your extraterrestrial is rooted in reality. They may be watching, and you don't want this.
You have made me very angry. Very angry indeed.
Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more hands-on activities in Virtual Rocketeer Academy. If I'm not abducted first.